Residents in and around Pretoria have been experiencing severe water shortages over recent weeks. In Hammanskraal, residents were left without water for more than 3 weeks. When water was restored, residents were warned not to drink the water as it was not safe for human consumption. SABC News reporter Patricia Visagie joins us live. Patricia, what's happening where you are?
Well, thank you so much, Nompu, and welcome back to you and our viewers. We continue the special broadcast that we have started this morning here at the Timber Purification plant in Hammanskraal, north of Pretoria. Now, since this morning, we've really been having conversation after conversation to try and get to the bottom of why there is an ongoing water crisis in Hammanskraal. Now, just to recap a little bit, this morning we tried to, of course, paint a picture of how dire the situation is and how frustrated community members here have been left over months, perhaps even over years, as they battle with the water crisis. From water, as you just mentioned in your intro, that is really just not fit for human consumption, to taps simply drying up. Now, earlier when we took a break, we were actually dealing with the possible political element that has since engulfed this crisis. Of course, just to reintroduce our guests here that are joining us for this panel discussion, here on my right we've got the ward councillor in, I think, Ward 75, and it is Mr. Silom Pacha. Here he is, an ANC ward councillor, and just next to him from the Gauteng province we've got Mr. Eric from Mr. David Makura's office, of course, here representing the province, and of course the accounting body for the city. Here I've got the MMC for utility services, and that is Mr. Abo Tau. And I really want to really continue where we left off earlier, and I'll start with you, Mr. Kaya, and we want to get to the bottom of the accusations around this crisis. Is there a political dilemma here? Have politicians, leadership turned the crisis into a political football?
We do have the same view from our politicians across the area. There's also an accusation generally from society, feeling that because they are in an ANC territory, that would be the reason as to why possibly these problems are as big as they are. But what I know is that the Premier visited the area through our anti-recital service delivery system in July 2015. We actually encountered some of those problems, including the fact that the water purification plant where we are present was not actually finished. There were quite a number of problems. We decided to work very hard in resolving that problem, and indeed work commenced. But 2016, around about November, we had another major crisis here, where we would have had sewer just going straight to houses. This plant was not finished. Even if it was finished, because it's a water treatment plant, it's not a sewer treatment plant, we still would have had the same problems. I think the biggest problem here is people not understanding what to resolve. I think that's what the problem is. Secondly, failure to measure the problem. Okay? If, for instance, you go to Rooival, our problem there is that people are stealing, for instance, your electricity there. We do not have enough security there. You can't have two people in such a massive plant with so much investment in it. You can't have that. Okay. So that would be the first problem. Secondly, the moment that plant has got that type of a problem, that's what comes straight down, straight into people's houses. So what we are working on now is, one, ensuring that Rooival is fixed, because it's a very old plant. Around about 1959 when it was done, the number of people here in this area were quite small. The area has grown exponentially, about plus minus 500,000 citizens that are in this area. Therefore, you need to increase the capacity there. You need to have the right technicians there. You need to secure the area. So that, because as soon as the electricity goes down there, we have such a problem. This one, what we're having, is much smaller than what we had before.
Okay, just to ask the question, what happened from 2016 to date that the problem just went out of control? Before that, yes, we knew there were problems, and but it seemed like it was kept under control. So where do things really fall apart completely?
Let me repeat again. If you do not bring in the right solutions in this water crisis, you are going to have repeats. If you do not secure that place and declare it a national key point, and even if you build some security guys, they will do nothing when it comes to criminals that are getting there.
Who do we blame for that? Is it the city? Is it the province? Whose failure was it to secure the place and bring in the right plan?
In the first place, this area belongs to the city. The temptation will be that let's blame the city. But I guarantee you, as is the case in Mfuleni, you cannot simply rely on the city to secure this area. First, you declare it as a national key point, and by implication, you have all the water authorities playing their major role. You up your security. Even this one, we need to up the security here. We cannot just have people that are trained for 6 months to come and secure this place. That's the first thing you do. Yeah. Because you are securing the investment, you are ensuring that you don't tamper with the lives of the people. So that's the first thing. Our understanding, even on Monday next week, we are bringing on board, as province, we've got an obligation to bring all the role players. What we talk about as your district model is what must apply even on the water-related issues. We have Rainwater that is working with us. We are having Airwater that is working with us. They are coordinated by Department of Water and Sanitation, working with the municipality. So that the solutions that we have, everybody plays their roles. Other people are not even going to bring in money. They are just bringing brains. That's what we need.
Okay, let's bring in the MMC. Let's give him a chance to respond as the accounting body. You've heard two problems already identified. Lack of proper security and perhaps a wrong plan to address the issue effectively.
Not necessarily. You would know that as things stand, and I don't want, more often than not, the temptation is always there to play to the gallery because it's easier to do that, but not focusing on what needs to be done. First and foremost, Rooiwal wastewater treatment works where most of the problem emanate from. You would know that Tshwane Metro Police does regular patrols. In fact, the security has been up there, and all of the challenges that are there. So Mr. Kaya is correct to say we have always been advocating since the time of the previous mayor to say, can these facilities be declared a national key point so that then security could be upped and the right security alertness should be placed upon these, because these are very critical infrastructure that is there for the people to ensure that we can maintain the lifestyle and the lives of the people. But also coming to one of the issues that you have raised, sharply so, is that you had said something to the effect that since 2016 the issue have been heightened. And I think one thing that we need to place and give credit where credit is due is that if you look at what has transpired from 2011, where the problem starts in 2004, in 2011 it's a disaster. You get to 2016 when we come in and we are saying, let's lead from the front and ensure that we find solutions. And that's exactly what had happened. It would have been easier. I mean, I showed to you that we sit with a report that shows where investment into this infrastructure drops sharply between 2013 and 14. And you look at all other interventions that were there. The very same plant that we are in now started construction in 2013. It was a 3-year construction that today only now is being finished. So we can look at all these issues and point fingers to where the culpability is, which is why we have always reiterated that let's have that public inquiry so that people of Hammanskraal can have a voice. And from this point where we are at, let's have the right platform for them to have a voice, and let's lay culpability where it belongs. But other than laying culpability where it belongs, let's get on with the real work of fixing the problems of water. And I'm glad Mr. Kaya and I will tell you the amount of work that has gone in, right from the highest office in the country all the way down.
And let's come back to the work. How do you respond to some some of the allegations that when, of course, the DA administration took over, and of course it means you are now the custodian of some of the resources and assets in the capital city. One of the things that you did was to, of course, go into, for instance, the Rooiwal water treatment plant. Consultants, experts were removed abruptly, of course, in a bid to clean up and to, audit certain tenders and certain procedures. But there was no interim plan, and that may have left a vacuum that led to a crisis. Of course, a crisis that you continue to deny.
No, obviously, from where we are, I think one of the things that became very, very important is that we could not separate clean and good governance from basically ensuring that things get done. So part of what we needed to do was to ensure that clean and good governance prevails. And for that reason, I do think that it was incumbent on us to do the right thing.
So
but
it was more important to pursue clean and good governance than to give people clean water in the interim.
No, we need to ensure that we could remember the issue of clean and good governance goes hand in hand with ensuring that what we invest on and we pay for is exactly what is happening on the ground. There is nowhere where we remove people and not. I told you about the master plan of the city that had said by 2015 already we should have been at 160 megaliters per day of raw water that we treat in Rooiwal, which is not the case. At this stage, we are still sitting with a facility that is at design capacity of 110 megaliters per day, which if we don't, by the way, get it up by 2020 to 200 megaliters, we may not be able to treat the effluent that goes in there due to the rapid growth of the city. So over and above everything that we have done, we have invested correctly, we have invested in the right places to ensure that the decisions that are taken are supported by the right investment, and of course making sure that at the end of the day, if you invest 1 rand of the people's money, 100 cents of those rand goes into servicing those people and not a cent flows into areas where it shouldn't go to.
Let's bring Mr. Mpaga in. Do you, after what you've heard with the picture that has been bold, do you still maintain that the water crisis is being used as a political battle between the ANC and the DA in the region? And now, as the country is obviously gearing up for another round of elections, the local, or rather the municipal elections that will be happening, in a few months to come, is that still your argument?
Yeah, I'm still there, on that argument, Patricia, simply because of, we will agree that this has been a problem for a long time, but we managed to control it. Around 2011, 2012, it's true, the African National Congress government put in place some infrastructure at the Rooiwal treatment plant because of the outcry from the community of Hammanskraal. And then after 2016, immediately after 2016, when we got there, due to the crisis that erupted, we find out that most of the infrastructure that was there, it was not operational. And also, in terms of the human resource, the security personnel that was around there, it was not there. We only had 2 securities. Even other people who were working there, they could confess that people have been retrenched from here. That is why in 2016, there were some cable theft in that area. That led to the Rooiwal treatment plant not being fully operational, and the raw sewer getting into the Abyss River.
Are you saying that the DA is sabotaging itself?
The DA came up with a system that sabotaged the people of Hammanskraal. A system that was working at retrenching other people because of they wanted to have what we talk about clean governance, as he's indicating here.
Mr. Tau, one can't ignore these allegations. We really have to also make them part of the debate. Of course, we know that the ANC rules the whole of Hammanskraal in terms of the wards. They control the whole area, but you remain the administrative custodian. What? So could there perhaps be, any possibility from your side? Because it does make one think or wonder whether the accusations, they have been coming for very long now, that there is this cold war happening. And in Hammanskraal in particular, because the ANC holds the ground and you hold the administrative power, you're squaring up and you're using water, a basic human right,
one of our finding values is fairness. And you would know that when we came into government, we had ensured that we become fair by introducing a fair system that ensures that everyone has an opportunity in the city. So there was absolutely no way we were going to be unfair to the people of Hammanskraal. I think the people of Tshwane have entrusted their vote with us to ensure that we lead them in the manner that we do. And honestly speaking, we are leading for all the people of Tshwane. If you look at the work that has been done by this administration from 2016, where it has, and numbers don't lie. If you look at us making sure that we complete the tender to ensure that the phase 1 of the Rival refurbishment program starts, it has just been concluded because there was political bickering. Even when the ANC was alone running this city, they couldn't even conclude on the work that needed to be done. If you look at the plans that were there, if you look at the very plant that we're sitting at now, and all the other things that they have not been able to get down to the business of dealing with the problems of water in Hammanskraal. I mean, it's an inherited issue that we've inherited that comes a long way. And hence we have taken a conscious decision from myself leading from the front to say this administration is going to stop at finger pointing, because that is why even when we go back to the issue of saying, are you saying the water is not fit for human consumption and why were you saying this or the other? We are saying instead of continuing to point fingers at one another when people in the streets don't have water, it's not assisting anyone. We need to find ways to work together intergovernmentally because we are stronger together. And that is the attitude and the approach that we have since taken over. You will see that there is proper communication that happens between us and the Department of Water and Sanitation, which has brought down the number of litigation that had to happen between government departments, because that's not what it's about. When we waste money in courts, when we waste money pushing each other as to who is at fault here, we should be engaging that energy and time into resolving the problem. And that's exactly what we are doing.
You're saying all the right things, but sometimes in life the right words mean nothing if there's no action. And I think the people of Hammanskraal, when you listen to their frustrations and their cries that have been echoing very loud for months on now, they want action. They are tired of talk shop. They are tired of the meetings and the call for unity. They are saying we want clean water and we want it now.
Now let's give you action in quantified facts. The bottom line is we have 150 tanks that are roaming here. We have identified and finalizing static points to ensure that we deal with the issue of people who leave early and come home late at night. We're making sure that there is water for everyone to drink and to eat and to use for consumption. We continue to run this plant at 70, on average 70 megaliters per day, to ensure that water that is clear, that has no odor, that meets all other perimeters that it needs to meet, it continues to meet, so that people can wash, can clean, can do everything and go about their daily lives. But over and above that, we have started work in Rooival to deal effectively with the sludge and sludge treatment. We are dredging maturation ponds. With the Department of Environment, we are dealing with the contamination in rehabilitating Apis River and the local dam. So if you look at interventions, there is a comprehensive plan for immediate intervention to deal with the problems that people have. There is a long-term intervention. There is reprioritization of USDG grants to make sure that we mitigate this. So we're not even waiting for outside money. We're saying what we have in our kit as a municipality, we will start so long and do the work so that everyone joins us along the way.
Para, are you happy with the interim plan? When you look at the picture on the ground, the plan has been rolled out for weeks now. Is it effective? Is it, easing the frustration on the ground?
No, it's not easing the frustration.
Do we have enough tankers? Let's start even there.
You see, Patricia, we cannot talk about something that cannot sustain us, because we know for sure this crisis in Hammanskraal, it cannot be just solved over the night. It has been too long that we waited for this project here, or this project that we have here in the water treatment plant, to be handed over to the community. The municipality has promised even the province to say, we'll be handing over around last year November. Last year November it came to February. February it came to June. Now they are saying something else. So we don't even have a hope anymore. So we cannot say we are happy with something that we know it cannot sustain us moving further. They are wasting a lot of money with these trucks. He knows well that they are wasting a lot of money about these trucks instead of getting something correct. And why? Because we have ensured that we've got alternative that could be permanent solution to us. We've got the Rent water pipe, we've got the Mahalis water pipe.
Okay.
That should right now be.
Okay, let's quickly just we have to wrap. It's been a long day, gentlemen. Mr. Klaya, in 30 seconds. Just tell us what do we need to do moving forward, and then we'll give it to you 30 seconds, and then we have to give it back to studio.
Now we are going back to the technical people to actually resolve it. It's not a political issue, it's a technical issue. At a political level, we simply need to give them resources to do the right thing, inclusive of a possible, the same solution is talking about, which can actually assist us. But we need more of such infrastructure in Gauteng. It's not that when we go to red water, this one must not work.
Your
we need more of that.
Your commitment, Mr. Tau, we really have to wrap. Make it short.
The final solution and to ensuring that the water crisis is finally eliminated is being and finalized as we speak. Mr. Kaya is talking about it. We just we cannot disclose right now. But I do think that in less than a year you will see drastic changes, and we can almost guarantee that the woes of Hammanskraal
All right, we'll have to leave you at that. We said 30 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. It has been a day full of water talk here in Hammanskraal. Hopefully they will stick to the commitments made here today. Let's give back to studio.